Hello, everyone. Today's press conference is for 21st century countries' major human rights abuse cases and the truth being revealed. Actually, in this so-called 21st century democratic Taiwan, there's still full of human rights abuses cases throughout the country. Behind all these cases show the untold violence and has been going on in the country. And this kind of violence and abuse of human rights can happen to me, you, or anyone in this country. And because of this, we especially held this conference on this day, December 25th, to open our survey of the survey's result of which truth of human rights abuses cases in this 21st century, which one does everyone want to know the most about. The organizer of this conference and survey are from the organizers of this conference of the survey are from the Taiwan and Financial Criminal Laws Research Association, Investigation Committee, and the NGO group, Association of World Citizens. And they sent out the survey for the citizens to have a way to give their true words. And we ask the government to respect human rights, and to respect that we ask everyone to monitor, to look over and watch over the government's right doing.
也是中华民国非常重要的一天，就是行宪纪念日。对，那我们在这个74周年的行宪纪念日这天公布这个票选结果，也是别具意义的。对，那我们接下来就先邀请台湾财经刑法研究学会理事长陈志荣教授来为我们开场。
So now we're welcoming
各位理事、各位
Professor Chen,
各位
Zhilong Chen.
朋友们，大家早安。今天其实是12
Welcome
月。
everyone. Today
我们讲12月
is December.
世界人权日。12月有
There's
24
December 10th. That's Human Rights Day.
所谓的我们
And
的
there's December 25th.
颁布日纪念日。但是
December 25th, and everyone knows it's Christmas. And there's also Taiwan's Constitution Day, which is today.
12月蛮多破坏人权的日子，大家知道。
December
10号美丽岛事件破坏人权。
In this December, there's a lot of human rights abuses that happen on December.
然后跟它相呼应的就是9月19号也是太极门案的延伸的案子。
You know, the Tai Ji Men case happened in December.
其实是一个大家要彻底要。
Yeah, anyways, the December happened, a lot of things happen in December that relates to human rights abuse in Taiwan. The main thing is that we need to understand what's happening, and we need to fix the problems that's happening in Taiwan. So today, we were talking about a main issue happening in Taiwan. We need to know that humans have human dignity. The citizens, they need human rights. And under the Constitution, under human rights, there's under the people, there's constitution law. 所谓的立法院才制定法律规则。 So under the people, then there's laws, there's ways to govern the country. The ways, the system should be under the people. And if if the government is not doing that, not serving for the people, then they should self-reflect on what they're doing, because then definitely they're doing something wrong. They're instead of helping the people, they're abusing, using their power to abuse human rights of the citizens. This has caused Taiwan to become a very a falling apart democratic country.
所以我们的立法院现在已经变成是行政院底下的一个小部，那立法委员呢，没有担任他的正确的职务，没有站在人权的角度，这种立法委员其实已经变成我们人民所痛恨的立法院。然后另外，我们的行政院应该要依据宪法，依据人民的人权来行政，依据正义来行政，而不是依据邪恶的
in any Taiwan's government, they should prosecute or do anything, any action under the name of the law, under following the law, not just they do whatever they want and abuse the use of their power. They shouldn't be just using their power to do the wrong things. You know, the government take the people's tax money. You know, the tax money is the people who work in the government's the people who work in the government's salary. So they really should be listening to the people. But they haven't been doing this. This has caused that our judicial is just for controlling people. We're just using the judicial to bring a hard time for everyone, for the citizen. For the judicial is really just for the government's officials' own benefit, instead of fixing people's problems, instead of fixing the society's problem, fixing the citizens' problems that's happening. They're not using the judicial in the right way. They're just using it in a wrong and unjust way. And then I also want to talk about the media. The media should really stand on the judicial side. The media should really, the media should really stand on the people's side, and because to report what is really happening in Taiwan. But they're really controlled by the legislative yuan, and they're not sending out the correct information to the outside world because of the government's pressure. We just wish that these government officials can really do the right thing and not just work for the money. So we're going to have a contrast over here. You know, you know, we really lost our human rights whenever we can't even voice our send out our voice outside. Like there's no freedom of speech.
还有好30个案件，我们都可以逐一来审查。宪法第8条根本没有落实，然后第10条人民有没有居住迁徙自由也没有，人民动不动被限制出境、限制出海，然后乱七八糟。所以我们整个
there's really a abuse of
其实我们已经达到深恶痛绝的阶段，他根本不懂得，他是民主法治。 人民受你的一个待遇。
The legislative yuan can just restrict anyone to of their freedom of speech and also restrict their travel to come into Taiwan and outside of going out of Taiwan. And also they can restrict your religious belief, and it is actually happening in Taiwan. And how is this even democratic? And how is this even democracy? You know, these cases aren't even being shown on the media because the media are not allowed to show these because of the government's pressure, and we are speaking from our experience and in truth. We have evidence with us, and we are here to reveal it because we need the people. We need to send out the truth to everyone, for everyone to be more aware of what is happening in Taiwan.
行宪到目前为止第一次来讨论这个问题，第一次
And this is really our first time.
我们是不是一个假的民主国家、假的自由国家？
We're really sitting here and
我们竟然在这种体制之
we
下
are asking ourselves, is Taiwan really a democratic country?
地下防地继续在
Or is Taiwan actually
但是都没有事情。我们的法律
a dictatorship, more like a dictatorship? The government can do whatever they want. They can just break laws. So we're here. We're really changing. We're changing how Taiwan's system works, and yeah, by showing and revealing the truth, we really are promoting, and we really want to change Taiwan for the better. We want a better system within our Taiwan's core of running this country. So today will be a very important discussion.
陈教授所说，我们也都很清楚，就宪法条文也非常明确的有条列，就是到底人民的权利有哪些。可是现在我们的政府就是打着依法行政的口号，但是他们没有真正的重视我们人民最基本享有的权利，所以这也是我们今天记者会最重要的目的。所以也希望就是我们真正的监督政府，就真正的人权
citizens of Taiwan should have their own freedom of speech and all human rights and everything, but the executive yuan, legislative yuan, they are really just ignoring it and swinging it in their own way.
今天是我们中华民国的这个行宪纪念日啊，但是呢，并不是一个值得
This is also a professor,
欢欣鼓舞庆祝的日子，因为
expert on these cases on Taiwan's system.
真正宪法落实的日子啊，因为这个行宪之后没有多久呢，就是进入到所谓动员戡乱时期，也就是事实上呢，行宪那一天开始，按照我们现在的促进转型正义条例的规定，我们国家就已经在威权时期了啊。 威权时期是从1945年8月15号开始起算啊，所以呢，到这个动员戡乱时期终止啊，进入到这个宪法增修条文啊，开始实施台湾修宪啊的这段日子呢，事实上我们看到还有很多迫害人权的这些制度呢，并没有被一一的清理啊。从过去的白色恐怖的问题呢，你看，从动员戡乱时期终止到现在啊，30年了，现在还没有处理完毕。那么许多的这个加害者啊，他的责任在哪里？目前都还没有。
So
当然，
during this 30 years,
是非啊，
you know,
我们现在很清楚了。可是呢，
period of
我们国家
rights
还在保
protection,
护那些加害者。
there's a lot of victims under these abuse of power from the government, and
总是以什么理由呢？他就是依法行政啊。这个在纳粹德国啊，在这个日本的这个纳粹德国之后的这个纽伦堡审判啊，或者在东京审判当中啊，我们都听到啊，那些战犯呢，他们都是用这样的理由，他们依法行政。
This is also the case when we're looking at
so in today's law, it's stated very clear that nowadays that in our society it has been stated that very clearly what people what the government officials can do and cannot do. Hello everyone, here we're over here and we're revealing the major human rights abuse from this country in this 21st century, and the truth is about to be revealed.
So within the tax system, there is still reminiscent of things from the White Terror period. And these laws have still continued to exist even till now. And those in power continues to use the bonus system to continue use it from the people's pocket to get these monies, to continue to enrich the pocket of their own pocket. So the country has basically squeezed out all the money from the people to fill up the vault of the country.
公务员呢他处理机制让他们成为国家暴力的这个执行者，成为这个人民财产的这个掠夺者。其实呢，每一个公务员呢，我们的国家考试也是非常的难考。
So those working within the government, for them to be able to be in their position, has to go through very hard tests.
或者一个善良的人，他可以坏人。所以问题是出在制度的问题。那所以呢，这个我们怎么样让我们的
So how do we
这个法治能够
continue to use human have our law follow human rights to follow the footstep of democracy? And I think that's very important.
在国家人权委员会今年刚成立。
So the Human Rights Committee that was created this year, so there has not been any law that says how they will enforce these human rights policy. So right now there is no law relating to this to what this committee can do. So how can this happen within this country? And so those leading the country shouldn't be in the stage of those leading the country shouldn't be in discussion stage. They should already be leading the country. So our conclusion from our so from the people's experience, we need to tell our government from our experience of how to efficiently protect the human rights and the policy regarding human rights in this country. So we can have. So here's an idea for our Human Rights Committee. I think the most important thing right now that it's under the control yuan. So the community should collaborate with the control policies. So the community So basically, having the committee work with the control yuan and those overseeing these human rights abuse and human rights false cases to continue to supervise to see how to end these human rights abuses. So for those who is supervising so there he's recommending that those in the supervising role within this community would have the power to pause any abuse or enforcement that is going on, to not let these illegal acts that is being enforced continue to abuse the human rights of the people, to stop them from doing irreversible damages to the people.
可能这个案子有重大的争议，可是呢，因为特别在税务的案件当中人民没有那么多的钱拿出来来寻求这个救济，所以呢，只好眼睁睁的看着什么他的财产
So in these tax cases, the people does not have the amount of money that is being asked from them, so all they can see is having their money taken away from them. And seeing, like, for those business owners to see that their employees wouldn't be able to, wouldn't continue to sustain their employees. So the Human Rights Committee can have the role of a protector to stop the spread of more illegal acts or human rights abuse, so they could better facilitate and to be able to allow when Control Yuan do further analysis and further investigation to be able to protect the people before then, and to be able to let the people have So I think this is a role that the Human Rights Committee should take. So, in investigation, so the Control Yuan has the ability to raise questions, but a Control Yuan only has to basically have the correction of the policy and to continue to help. Okay.
这个可能经追诉权时效，或者是那个你的救济时效已经过的相关的这个请求权时效已经过的这些案件，那么这个监察委员呢，我们应当让他有这样的权利，重新调查然后根据这个调查结果呢。
So the supervisor for anything has already passed due time has the ability to allow the people to continue to have those who have committed illegally to be held accountable. So I think through these roles for the Human Rights Committee, this way it will be a good direction for us to solve all these cases that is being presented today. So just this November, there has already been a case of around 11 million people who has already received compulsory enforcement. So we hope that our Control Yuan could really stop these human rights abuse from officials who has committed illegal action. So next we welcome one of the Dr. Huichon, who is one of the person who created the Fair Tax and Legal Reform.
那这个今天票选这个排名
So today's vote, being in the front of this vote is not really necessarily a good thing. Today should have been a happy day because it's Christmas.
因为大家已经忘记了这一段时间他本来心情还不错，因为其实我刚出来的时候，淡水比这边淡水我看淡水的旧名叫什么口味所以呢，台北如果现在这样，淡水一定下雨，一定更冷。本来来到台北心情都不错，因为没有在下雨，气温也比较好，我穿的很厚。可是一进来看到这些什么被侵犯。
So it should have been a happy day, but coming in here, seeing all these abuse with no human rights, it really dampers the mood. So I found there's two types of cases that happen. That is common. Number one is cases relating to tax. The second one is related to.
国家对人民呢最严厉的压迫手段是什么？两个，刑罚、税。那今天刚好票选出来都是税。好，那这些不管是刑案或是税务案件，我们都可以发现它的破坏结构基本上都一样。首先，
So the second one is the criminal cases that have also one of the common.
是什么？刚才两位老师都提到了，依什么？
So those who have broken the law would always say that they have based on their action is all based on the law, and they continue to say this no matter what. But when you look into it, what kind of law do they base it on? Such as the Mrs. Huang case in September 19, the police are saying that they are following the law, but what exactly is the law they follow?
那在某种程度呢，这里可以看出来了，警察的法治教育基本上真的是。
So from this case, you can see that the police still needs more improvement in their understanding of the law. But sometimes they say it's based on evidence, but when you think about it, is it really based on evidence? And he's saying if he is the one who chooses, he would
他被洗刷的时候，他来不及看到，甚至一直在他死了以后，他的谁一直在帮他到处去陈情。以前他的爸爸。
He's saying one of the cases that after he has the victim has passed, his son is still continuing to try to redress the case. So he's talking about the case of Jiang Guoqing. Those in power continue to say it is based on evidence. They're saying that it was based on lie detector, but it's not really the best evidence. So when would you be under lie detector is when the prosecutor asks you, did you commit this case? And when you say no, they will be sent to take a test on the lie detector. So they're saying, talking about the Taxation Bureau investigation in America.
当我呢，你这个检察官送来的时候，我这个测谎者已经心里有底了，这个人有罪不罪？一定是有罪的。
So when they sent them to send lie detector, those who is doing, who is
在座都不可能是犯罪者嘛？我对你测谎，测出来的结果有没有人把握说我绝对通过的举手？
So he's asking who has like 100% saying that they could pass the lie detecting test. And he's saying there could be biases for those who is examining those sent to take the test, because if you're sent there, there could be some.
其中很多都发现他在调图谱啊，请问一下，这个是证据吗？还有什么证据？当时说什么1999年中期号称我们的江国宪用什么 DNA 鉴定。 结果他拿的是什么？厕所里面垃圾桶里面的。
So he's saying one of the other evidence I was brought up was about DNA, but
那个小女孩怎样性侵完了，然后
So he's
小女孩
saying-
太小，她是用器物去生嘛，用手去生嘛，然后再手淫嘛，然后还有卫生纸擦丢嘛，结果后来证实了，那一坨所谓的卫生纸真的是精嘛。
So he's saying originally the cases was based on DNA, but they were saying even with the DNA cases, there were still some flaws within that evidence. And so he's saying like that's a lot of similarity within the tax cases as well. Those evidence brought up is not necessarily real. Such as for the Tai Ji Men case, they were saying it's So there are cases like the Tai Ji Men case where there's dual
所以呢，在这些冤案案件，我们发现他的讲什么依法、依证据，那个都是虚妄，讲科学。
So what he's saying that he's science, he's law, it's all
法官应该要怎样？
fake.
他有去呢，这样仔细去检视这些东西，结果我们的法官好像也怎样，好像也没那么认真啊，就这样糊弄过去了。糊弄过去呢，就这么粗糙的审判程序，这么薄弱的证据，这么没有基础的法律，这样判人家，不管是有罪或是你一定要缴，而且一直追着你要钱的结果被证明是冤错假案的时候，人民要去翻容不容易？
So when these illegal cases has happened, even when you want to bring up evidence, the judge, when the people want to go and correct the case, it is difficult for them to be able to go through that process. For the judge to be able to deem you as guilty, they did not have to offer any evidence. But when you want to redress the case to prove your innocence, you'll have to bring up sufficient evidence. So, in order to redress the case, who do you even go to? First case is the court, but the person who is deemed you as guilty is the court. So what's even worse is, so he is saying when he was teaching his student,
判决确定以后要申请再审，如果被他抽到了，各位认为他要不要回避？要嘛，对不对？这个不用读法律也知道啊。可是按照我们现在的司法解释，要不要回避？没有回避。不用回避。
So the judge is supposed to.
就是现实面有没有看到这种情况？有啊，太极门就最明显的例子啊，鬼打墙一样啊。
So you're saying one of the cases for the judge shouldn't continue to judge the same case more than once, but they need to have the necessary avoid the case that they have already judged, but that did not happen.
在某种程度，我也认为说，一定要有一个法院以外的系统来作为这种非常救济手段的途径。比方说刚才曾老师提到的，是不是人权委员会？可是现在就碰到一个问题了。 因为现在监察院已经这个立法院可能下个会期在讨论什么修宪，对不对？要把监察院怎样废掉，这麻烦了，这很尴尬，这个非常尴尬，对不对？它随时有被废掉。第二个，那个人权委员会成立了以后，它的职权行使法目前还在讨论嘛，对不对？在讨论的过程，好像传出风声，就刚才郑老师讲的，要给那个人权委员会呢有类似，我感觉是像。 法国的再审委员会，就是说你要来提救济的话，已经确定判决确定的案子，你要来翻的话，你不要让旧有的法院系统去做。我另外弄一个再审委员会来审，说这个案子是不是真的判错了。等到我认为确实判错了，我决定以后再可能丢回法院去审理。我觉得这个制度是算不错的 那人权会目前传出有要想要这样，就像刚刚陈老师讲的，可是某一个院就是陈老师讲的，一定要废的那个院，马上跳出来反对，那个院长亲自出来啊，跟前台院长对干，谁啊？陈老师讲的，是我还不下来，所以你看人民多苦啊。再来讲最难的一个部分，救者。
So saying that one of
我们
the
从来在台湾这些冤做假案，就算被发
so
案了，
within
可是
Taiwan,
那个
even if you
加害
have
者
redressed the case,
有没有因为呢这些破案的事件，
those
因
abusers
此被排除或者是救责的，有没
still
有？
do not
不仅没
are
有
not
啊，
take
现在还干嘛？
do not have
还
to hold
升官欸
accountability
这
to
判决给台湾现在
the illegal
连
acts they
政府
have
都
done.
说
They could still
不服
continue
法
to
立法部到底是干
they could
什么？
still get a raise or continue to move
然后结
into
果
higher
唯一呢
position.
能救的好像是人民去申请什么国家赔偿。好，那我问各位，就算国家赔
So
偿你
even
啊，那个
within
钱谁出？
the country has
是我们在座各位，
given
请问一下，我们犯了什么错？我们犯了什么错啊？所以今天讲到这里本来我一直强调，我刚下捷运站看到台北没有下雨，我就一个淡水人来讲，只要冬天看到没下雨，心情就会很好。我的那个期待很卑微
So even when the country has given compensation to those who are abused, who are victims, those compensation are still taken from the people in terms of tax money.
不管怎么样今天呢总是呢，当呢国家不义的时候，人民只有起身来反映。
So when the government is not helping the people, then that is why the people have to stand up to fight for their own rights.
谢谢吴教授发言，然后也呼吁吴教授，今天现场也来到了许多的直播主，有韩国虎、叶浩翔，也有炯炯有神。
So there are other many YouTubers
以及现场的公民朋友们，我们现在也可以拿出手机，然后一起上 YouTube 搜寻，然后帮忙按赞、分享、留言，让更多的台湾。
So invite more people to share and like the different channel that is doing their live broadcast to the event.
德国欧斯纳布鲁克大学
So next
教授连福龙教授为我们发言，掌声。
今天这样的一个网络票选活动，我看到泰姬们的是得到第一。
So today seeing Tai Ji Men's case as number one of this
自己在这段时间我是非常感慨但是其实我没有像吴老师心情很好，我心情还蛮好的。然后好的原因就是说，我们第24年呢，
So this is the 24th year we have seen that Taxation and Tai Ji Men has held the case of Chen Qingxu.
新的名单里面那些他救了几千个犹太人，结果犹太人用金牙齿呢，用希伯来文写了一个字，在这个戒指里面的，你救了一个人，就救了一个全世界。
So
那所以在某个意义上
when you have saved one person, you have saved the whole world. So after 24 years, only saving one person is very few. But once you save one person, you save the whole world. And what is this?
他现在努力的要去营救这些受难的人，这何其伟大
！So those who have been abused is still continuing to help other victims as well.
可是他会觉得说，他把他老师宪法法院大法官副院长他的遗志呢，他完成你知道很多人在讨论说，为什么台湾没有救济制度？那在德国的救济制度呢，它是用 ombudsman 就是纳税人保护官。那台湾的纳税人保护官是那些逼迫开假税单的人当保护官。
So those who are supposed to be evaluating those who are supposed to protect the taxpayers' right are those people are the same people that is also abusing the taxpayers' right.
保护特任制的这样的保护官呢，他们是可以救命比如说像大埔案，那个房子要被拆了，他可以对法官的命令呢制止，
So within Germany, their case is the taxpayer's protector can say like you need to stop this abuse and to be able to save the people, but it is not the case within Taiwan. In Taiwan, even like if you see the Tai Ji Men case, when their land is being auctioned off, even when within the second auction they already took it as to take the property of the people. So I think within this time, the victims within the Tai Ji Men case, they were still keeping a positive attitude and still continuing trying to help even more people who is being abused due to these policies. So being able to help people is very difficult. And those taking for just 18,000 NTD to take their property worth around 200,000 is not acceptable. So he's talking about the importation of American pork, about how the government who originally is against the importation of these pork is now the person who is actively trying to have it imported into the country. So Taiwan is not only not enforcing justice exchange, but they continue to enforce these flawed policies that harms the people. So we said that Taiwan is based on law, democracy, and human rights. So the most important thing of law is when the people have, in regards to their basic rights of living, property, and many different basic human rights. When the country wants to take away the people's property, there needs to be a judicial investigation. Judicial review. So even the high judge is letting branches to take property of the people to confiscate all the property of the people. When the judge is not helping to balance, to enforce their role to balance the power of the government, and they help with the abuser, it is going to cause more misery. And when they harm the people to a point where people lose their property and livelihood, so all religion
要去救这些税债务。我上次看到伟龙师兄在帮这个被人家操算的这个科技人躲在美国。你知道要去调查他，
talking about helping other victims.
然后要去算说他怎么去污
and trying to figure out how the false tax bill is enforced. Like going through all these steps to help those help is a very difficult process, but even if it's a difficult process, but it is still an important aspect of life to be able to continue to help other people.
我在看《悲惨世界》的这个，不是那个有一个人呢，就偷拿神父的这个银器，结果被警察抓到了。
And so he was watching Les Miserables, and he was saying when the main character was stealing from the priest, but the priest told the police one encounter saying, hey, you know, I told you to grab more, but that was not enough. And the robber was also both the robber and the police is confused, but it's because of the priest's love for this thief that he was able to have a change of heart and continue to help others.
结果那个警察到了那个他的陈设说：“嘿，我看你很面熟啊，你是不是以前那个小偷？”他说：“不是。”所以就一直在迫害他，一直要把他抓到为止。
So the police continues to try to go after the thief, but the thief continues to try to help the person, and the police who at the end saying after 20-30 days of me trying to go after you, and you're still able to not have hatred in your heart. It's important. So basically, from the story, it's hard to save someone, but we still want to continue this process. This is how Taiwan can continue to be better. So they are holding signs that says abused, heartbroken, with no human right, and so the picture symbolize the people and that they're trying to help.
们现场也有许多公民记者，然后包括世界公民日报的英文记者也来到了现场。那我们今天也希望可以透过国际媒体啊、国际舆论的压力，来真正监督我们的政府。
So we hope through the international platform can continue to drive our government to actually stop these abuse of human rights and to better the system.
好，那谢谢教授。那麻烦教授把手上的贴纸贴到后方的 banner 上面，直接贴就可以了。
So now the speakers are invited to put the symbols onto the banners onto the poster, and those posters have the different policy that they feel are the most abusive policy towards people.
那我们麻烦教授留步，等一下我们将对，那教授我们先留步，那我们现在也邀请所有的受灾户来到台前。
So now they're inviting all of the victims of victims from the tax abuse to step forward to take a picture.
教授们站在那个后方的 banner 前。今天来参与记者会的受灾户站到舞台前面，跟老师们进行合影。 OK 了吗？好，那我们谢谢所有受灾户麻烦回到位置上。那接下来我们请陈志龙教授麻烦
So next we invite Professor Chen Zhidong to talk about the top 10 of the 21st century country human rights abuse cases within Taiwan.
各位媒体朋友、各位女士、各位先生，这个是经过好几天的这个调查。
So this vote has been going on for a few days. So there are around 30 cases. So the number one is the Tai Ji Men case. There is 166,314 votes. The second case is the Mrs. Huang case, which has 90,608 votes. The third is the case of Chen Xingshi, which has 53,472 votes. Coming in fourth is the case of Ye Yangchun, which has 51,420 votes. So this is the case in regards to technology. He brought in the skills for these technology. He got his stock based on his skills, and it wasn't so it wasn't something that should have been taxed, but he ended up being taxed based on the stock. So these abuser of tax and laws, they are abuser to human rights. And there are some of these abusers who are even professors within universities of Taiwan. So the government have serious. So coming in fifth is Jen Yong-song. Again, it's a case regarding to taxes. He has already passed, but he said, even if you try to violate my right, I still have my extradition to fight for my innocence. So we know these abusers
其实被这些人破坏，这少数这些人破坏，其他这些人应该是犯罪行为，应该抓起，就 没有抓起来，反而让善良无辜的人继续被迫害，这个是前部这个所谓的前部。那我们看一下第六名，第六名也是一个离谱的一个迫害。
So number 6 is the case regarding Huichon, who she is someone who wanted to purchase the tutor center or cram school, but she never actually successfully have ownership of the center. Her original hope was to continue to help these students, but because of the tax system has basically went after her for more than 24 years. So from this case, we know that Tai Ji Men is not the only case in regards to tax. So these these malicious officials continues to want to take money from the people and harm the peoples. So Ms. Wu, so it's not only in regards to property, but it's also their lives, their health that is being violated. So he's saying one of the tax official.
如果再不做好事，县市报就越来越出现。现在还有一个县市报没有出现，他滥收滥地还没有出现，还在当讲座教授，真的是。所以吴佩纯也被这些少数人所害。第6名第7名的得票是黄文煌案，44940票。黄文煌大家知道这个案件吗？黄文煌就是一个律师。
So case of Huang Wenhuang, he is a lawyer who was helping a case, taking a case for pro bono with, but the tax bureau sent the tax bill to him instead of his.
天哪，这什么国税？这等于是一个肮脏级啊，对不对？这等于胡说八道。我们有租税法定原则。
So the lawyer did not have receive any money, but the tax bill ended up being sent to him. So it is taxation not based on the law. So Mr. Hong, who was prosecuted to a point where he has thought of the idea of jumping from his the roof of his house, 9th floor, but thinking about his son, he decided against it. So there are representatives who said like these bonuses should be given to these officials to encourage them to do more. But as we've seen from these tax cases, the bonus doesn't really is not the right way to do things. So the 8th one is Mr. Huang Renzhong. So his father is also taken in for role within the government. He had some stocks. So again, it's another case because of taxes.
所以黄任州在天上之灵也会对这些人产生报复，所以，然后他更离谱，遗产他的儿子呢还要抽遗产税，然后黄任州还列为第一名漏税逃税，那他儿子第二名，拜托，两个都同样的事情，对不对？
So they were
就不受理，那你还把它列为要受理，还要到第一级抓他。
So the officials that basically is abusing Huichon was saying that he is number one tax evasion, but and then rate his son as second, but it was based on the same case.
制造说他们在追税大王，其实破坏者就是哪有什么追税大王？ 第9名是郑小姐案。
The ninth case is of Miss Chen, who has 39,340 votes. The 10th case is the case of Lin Youxin. His case in regards, he bought a house wanting to for himself, but he ended up selling the house because he could not sustain the fees to house. But then he was taxed as a luxury fee for buying this house. So again, it is important for the people to stand up to protect the human rights of the people. So for Zheng Xiaojie, so for the ninth case, number 9 in the first case. So basically, for only $48,000 that in NTD, that the Taxation Bureau wants to sell their whole house, to auction off their whole house. And so Miss Chen passed away in her house because of this abuse. So even though it might look so like the case of Chen Qingshi, even within the file they have their phone number and they could have contacted the victims, but even though they could contact this victim, but they did not take this step. So it could be that they try not to contact him because they are already pre-planning about taking his property. So he's saying there is definitely more than just this 10 cases, because if we do not redress or better the policy, then Taiwan will really not have any actual law towards
台湾人民站起来，让这些坏官能够被制裁。
So it's important for the people to step up to be able to better to rebirth the actual human rights of the Taiwanese people.
这个立法委员、烂的国会代表，他们去调解，烂的行政官、烂的司法官，他们枉法乱搞，这枉法裁判、滥权征收，然后滥权的这个。
So to all those government officials who has basically abused their power and continue to harm the rights of the people and violate the law, these people should should be held accountable.
就在上面，我们司仪又跑掉了，对不对啊？是，你是塞任务给我。
我们谢谢陈教授为我们公布今天的投票结果。那其实这个21世纪国家人权重大迫害案件，到底网友们真正想要知道的是什么内容呢？其实总共也有破百万人次在网络上进行这个票选。那虽然我们主办单位只选了30个案件来让大家进行票选，但其实我们从这边也可以看到，有真的非常非常多受到国家暴力、被人权侵害的案件，真的就是真真实实在台湾我们所生活这片土地上上演。那其中呢，第一个也就是票数最高，获得了16万多的太极门甲案，这是一个跨世纪，已经历经了24年的重大人权迫害案件。那这个案件呢，其中也有上万的受害人，那在经历了多次的政党轮替，但也都没有一个政府愿意真正解决这个问题，为太极门平反。那第二个案件黄妈妈事件呢？那其实这位黄妈妈她就是也是希望为了台湾更好，为了台湾的法税改革而站在街头上声援，法税改革声援太极门案。没想到为了一张举牌，她竟然直接被警察依现行犯当街逮捕。而甚至现在还就是遭受到限制住居，这个真的是严重迫害宪法保障我们人民最基本的言论自由权以及居住权、洗权等等。那第三个案件澄清是案件。
So the first case was the Tai Ji Men case, which has been going on for 24 years, but has still not yet been redressed, even after a continued effort and evidence. The second case is Ms. Huang, who in September 19 was basically taken by the police without any basically her rights towards freedom of speech was violated. And then the third case is Mr. Chen Qingxu, who his property was basically sold without his knowledge for a parking ticket, traffic ticket based only on $18,000. And so many of the different cases within these 10 rule are based on tax abuse from the government. So the fifth case is Mr. Chen Yongsong, who has passed away, but his case has not yet been redressed. The sixth case is Ms. Huichon. Again, it's absurd of what happened. She's employed at a tutor center when her boss decided to want to sell the tutor center, and so she thought about buying the center to help the students, but that never actually happened, so she never had ownership of the tutor center. So when the Taxation Bureau could not tax the original owner, they came after her, who never had any ownership to the tutor center. And even now she has cancer, and even the money for her to use to help with treatment is being taken away. So number 7 is Mr. Huang, who is a lawyer. he was helping with a pro bono case, but the Taxation Bureau ended up sending the tax bill for his client to him. So the abuse is so bad that he thought about taking his life, but only continued to fight because of for his son. So a lot of these cases of violence from the government, how many people have, because of these abuses, decided to take their life because they can never find a way to redress their own, find their innocence and stop these abuse. So the ninth case is so for number 8 is Mr. Huang Renzhong, who all of the family members are rated as top tax evasion people. So even before he passed, he said that for the taxes that he needs to pay, he will pay them, but for the taxes that he's not supposed to, he will not put in a dime. Again, it's for the ninth case for Miss Zhen. Basically, her house is being put on auction because of a 48,000 NTD case, and that's equivalent to around $10,000 in. For the number, the 10th case is Mr. Liu Shen. He basically bought a house, but decided he couldn't pay off the loan, so ended up selling the house. But he was charged with a luxury fee. However, based on his case, that shouldn't have happened. So this is.
等等这些权利，让我们人民真的在台湾能够安居乐业，能够就是安心的生活在这片土地上。对，那今天记者会我们现在也邀请到一位世界公民记者，英文记者，那他在这边就是也将为我们用英文来说明。
好美丽的。
最近有点冷。
Hi, so everyone. I think I am just going to summarize a little bit because the content from this session, there's so much content. But basically, we are all gathered here today because we understand there is a severe violation within this government, especially when we're looking at these 10 cases that was voted by the people. A lot of these cases are based, right here. So a lot of these cases are based because of taxation issues within the system, and a lot of the first one was Tai Ji Men case, and that case, from what we heard, has been going on for 24 years and had yet been redressed, even though they've been to court and evidence has again and again said that they are innocent, but they are still continuing to be prosecuted by the Taxation Bureau and what's happening. And then the second case for Ms. Huang, that happened, again, violence from the government, a derivation of the Tai Ji Men case. And then again, all these cases that we're talking about basically essentially going back to there is something that is fundamentally wrong within this taxation, and only a few people within the government who are doing these wrongdoing, and because of what they are doing, that harms the people. And again, I think one of the main things that was talked about again and again right here is even though there is only a few abusers, and because they are not following the law, and because they are continuing trying to deepen their own pocket, taking money away from the people, that there could be many victims that we don't even know about, and how many victims who has not yet reached out to the Tax and Legal Reform League that we don't know about. So again, it's essential for all of people to step up to actually protect all of our human rights, and to be able to
make sure that we live in a country where everything is based on the law, and those abusers and those people that violates the human right of the people are held accountable and are taken away from office. Yes. Oh, should I say everything? Okay, so.
好，我们谢谢世界公民的记者来为我们讲，就是到底国外他们其实国际的媒体也非常关注，就是台湾现在受到国家暴力、人权迫害的这些案件。对，那我们接下来今天的记者会，我们来到了最重要一部分，就是今天有非常多的受灾户也都亲临记者会现场。那我们首先要有请黄妈妈一家人就是上台。然后为我们讲述他们的事件，这样。好，那我们有请。
Now we're welcoming Miss Huang on the stage and talk about her case of human rights abuse happening in Taiwan. So this happened a few months ago.
So we have invited one of the tax victims. So he is the husband of Miss Huang, who. So this vote really can. It's not something to be happy about. So when the law really cannot protect the human rights of two people, so this event happened on September 19th. Ms. Huang was one of the volunteers for the Tax and Legal Reform League. So she was at a field holding a very basic sign to speak for the Tai Ji Men case. And so it only happened within an instance. And then the police came to try to talk to them. So she's like, okay, then let me leave. But the police came back and said that she was a criminal and then took her away. So for the people who doesn't understand the law, my wife is is just a normal housewife. So when this thing happened, when the police didn't tell them the reason of her being taken away, and the police said that once you are taken into the police station, then we'll tell you why we are taking you away. So then through this case, it seems like the police power can continue to expand, and they could take whoever they want away. Since the incidents on September 19th, because of the incident, my wife was basically rushed to the emergency room. And then she, because of the incidents, have basically gotten, because of the incident, she ended up with PTSD. And so after the incidents, it's been after 3 months. However, her psychiatrist saying that she is recovering. But when a country is trying to prosecute its own people and violate their rights, there's really not much we can do. So since the incident, there are many things that she can no longer do anymore. So she's been a volunteer for, more than 20 something years, and so it never come to her mind that after 20 something years of volunteering and helping other people, that she would be taken into the police station and harassed and threatened. So this is abuse from the country. So really, because of this incident, really heartbroken. Taiwan has always said that it is a country based on democracy and law, but from this incident on September 19th, that we see that the people who has power could to break the laws and to abuse the power with no care, and they could cause fear and fears in the people. And so all of our family has been shaken from this incident. Even my son, when he is trying to go home from from work, that even seeing police officer which shook him. And because of this evidence, whenever Mr. Huang, whenever he sees any police, that he is scared that the police is trying to go to his house to talk with his wife, and worry for his family. And he's worried about his wife, if she would be all right.
我要呼吁的是，这个政府，也就是说，这个像在今天行宪纪念日，理当是政府应该是公布说，我这个10大政绩或者怎么样对人民有利的政绩，而不是我们现在看到的，就是让受害者，因为
And really, the government should not have to make the people stand up because of their prosecution from the country to talk about their own of the abuse that happened to them. So now they will be putting on the sticker that symbolizes the abuse onto symbolizes the abuse from the government and the lack of human rights within this country.
好，那我们也邀请线上的公民朋友们，也可以为台湾妈一家加油，有点鼓励他们。好 ，OK， 好，那谢谢黄妈妈一家人勇敢为台湾的人权发声。那我们接下来有请那我们接下来有请今天事件第1名的太极门甲案的太极门弟子代表来为我们发言。
So next we invite one of the Tai Ji Men dizi to talk.
大家好，首先呢，在这边我拿到这个是心痛，真的是觉得对我们国家。
So the sticker he has gotten is heartbreak, and really, this really is a case that has crossed different generations. And so he wants to thank everyone who has who cares for the Tai Ji Men case.
就一直有一群正义之士包含今天在现场的这个法税改革联盟的发起人吴景新教授，还有陈仲教授，还有这个曾建元教授，
And so many of the experts coming, and
还有连福龙教授，还有无数的这些专家学者
many experts within the field for to continue help the reform of taxation system within Taiwan.
非常的具有重大的意义，因为今天是
So today is a memorial day for criminal. So the people should, everything should be based on the law.
主要讲到就是这个开宗明义就讲到宪法是为了巩固国权跟保障民权。
So constitutional law needs to be respected and needs to be.
冤案呢，从开始到现在。
So the case has really been just continue to be extremely absurd. So since the digital cases, even with the court has deemed me with no tax evasion and their innocence, the Taxation Bureau could still continue to prosecute the Tai Ji Men Academy, and saying that what the court said does not count, which we can see that really for them to ignore the calls from the court, it really is abuse, violation of rights. And so for the past 24 years, we've So there's violence from the Taxation Bureau and the violence for enforcement for them to auction off the land. And even within within the judicial system, the judge not following the process, and even with volunteers being abused by police power. So this is why there's so many heartbreaks. So the Tai Ji Men, since beginning, there's never any tax evasion, but even then, this year, they could illegally auction off the land of Tai Ji Men. And even then, even let the Central and Taipei Taxation Bureau branches take these property for the country. So even within. So even the control yuan who has said the prosecutor Ho Kwan-ren who began the cases has already said there's a violation of the law, and this whole system there's the Taxation Bureau has 7 violations of the law. But even when the control yuan has already done through the investigation and asked for these different branches within the government to make these corrections to better the system, these branches of the government still did not act upon these suggestions and continue to ignore. So we're asking again, how has there been any correction to these systems? To please don't let the people continue to be harmed based on these flaws within the system. So today, so having mistake is not something that should be ashamed, but what should really be ashamed about is making those mistakes and refuse to correct it and refuse to apologize. And so we need the correction of these mistakes to give back innocence to the people.
好，我们谢谢太极门弟子代表的发言。那麻烦把这个心痛的贴纸也贴到这个布条上面。 也象征着人民的心声。口罩可以。
你问一下齐峰是 O 不 OK？我已经换了。你问一下。take 上。
好，我们谢谢太极门弟子代表勇敢站出来。那我们现场现在也来到了简永松太太的简永松的太太，然后这也是我们今天票选第5名。那简永松就是公司没有营运，但仍然遭到课税7000多万。然后简先生现在也已经过世，但至今没有被平反。那我们现在邀请简太太的发言。
说实在，今天站在这里，感觉各位我其实跟我年轻的时候，应该说2000年前，我其实跟各位一样是媒体人。媒体人呢，我专门呢，我当过这个妇女救援基金会，这个为妇女妇权的董事当了3届的董事。我还是客家运动的总策划，今天有客委会，还有客家电视台，我应该是居功厥伟。下礼拜一行政院客委会还邀请我要一个庆典要我发言。然后呢，这是我。那我是学文的，那我先生呢，他的。
She has.
这是我。
She is one of the.
那我先生呢，我先讲他的背景，他是。
So her husband, when he was 19.
当时的专制政权，他是最年轻的白色恐怖的政治犯。
He is the youngest victim of the White Terror.
国际特赦组织第1任的召集人就是他，就是说要帮助这些坐牢的人。还有呢，后来呢，
He have tried to continue to.
他是后援会的会长，所以说他的一生他。
So her husband, her whole life, even when he is in business, he.
民主文化基金会董事，还有呢，台湾那个日本文化基金会也是董事，都是出钱出力的，而且呢，我们一直都是关怀这些弱势的。
So they have continued to help victims and different people, but they never expected themselves to become victims themselves with nowhere to turn to for help. And so the business of her husband is a technology company. So their business could not continue to operate because Mr. Chen Song was not in the best health condition.
因为呢，那个75万的税，那基本上你知道，那个是，叫 RFID 的，就是说扫描动物晶片，动物要怎么，你的狗呢，要是谁的狗，那个是扫描，那是我们代理的，那个德国的一个厂商，叫戳本。那个 reader 那是那个扫描机，其实是送去的。德国来修理返回的，可是呢，他那个新店税监处就说我们这是新品，明明我是送修的，并没有新品，就为了这次争执，就75万，所以。
So the first tax bill they gotten was around 75,000 NTD.
后来呢，那是89年的事，那后来。
It was at this disruption against
当时我们代理晶片那时候正好是网络潮，就有一个人叫做投资，我们这个5000万 他觉得说台湾有250万头的狗那以后可以大发。好，那5000万的他就说他不要旧的公司，他要新开一个公司。然后呢，让我们
The case was
就是说我们这个代理权
we had a product for our company, and then it was originally owned by us, and then we sent it to Germany for fixing. But then after sending it back, the Taxation Bureau fined us a tax because they believe that they think that it's a new product, and which they don't have evidence of, and they just fined us because of this. And then, because of this great fine, we went into a hardship. And at that time, I was working with my husband working on many companies, and we were already under immense pressure, right? And under the Taxation Bureau's pressure, giving us this fine that we shouldn't have received in any way. It really hurt us mentally and physically. So the Taxation Bureau gave out fines that were over what was supposed to be given to us, and our accountant told me that let's just get it over with, or else the Taxation Bureau will give us a hard time. And so in this case, we realized that these fines were actually not supposed to be given us because, these taxation bureaus, they are giving out fines just for their own sake. They found the people in the court that were actually working for the Taxation Bureau to fine us. So there's actually no justice in the court. I really thank this chance to share my experience over here, and this is a good chance for us to share our experience to the world, because we need everyone to know what's going on in this society in Taiwan, and I'm really happy to share my case with everyone to let everyone be more aware of what's going on. I'm already 70, but I'm still trying my best to change the system. So now we're taking a group photo. So this ma'am is already over 70 and she is still hanging in there, trying her best to change this system with everyone sharing her experience with us. And like all the other victims, they are trying their best, sharing their experience over here today with us so that we can know what's going on and be more aware of what's happening in Taiwan and in this social system. They are not happy to be the victims, but they are glad that they have the chance to share with us all. And by sharing with us all, it gives more chance of changing our Taiwanese system. So this was a survey done around the country, and we surveyed what cases were the most severe major case that everyone think of when they talk about human rights abuse in Taiwan, in this country. And as we saw earlier, Tai Ji Men case was at number 1. The Tai Ji Men case has been fought for many years. More than 24 years, and from this case, we can see the problems in the Taiwanese Taxation Bureau and Taiwanese government system. Finding tax just for bonus money. And the reason they find illegal tax is just for the bonus money, which is not like any other country how the system should be, because this promotes the government, the officials find tax just for the bonus money for their own sake. So every time here this gentleman is sharing, yeah, we're very sad to see this kind of cases every time in the Taiwanese society, because this is human rights abuse happening. So we say that for the human rights abuse, human rights community, if we are not doing enough, we need to fix it. By understanding each case, we need to know what is right, what is wrong. We cannot keep on putting more pressure on the citizens. We have to fix what's right. Everyone knows in Taiwan that we have a saying that if you do wrong things without conscience, then there will be karma, and it is really something that people with conscience should not be doing. You have to have conscience. So everything of the illegal finding of the Taxation Bureau there's laws to it, and they are actually breaking the law.
具体的去处罚真的是少之又少。长期这
And
个结构，它里面的文化跟精神啊，其实就是
by
在
illegally
互相维护、
punishing,
互相
illegally
把权力
using the
相互这个抓
well,
到他手上
as the Taxation Bureau use their power to illegally abuse the citizens,
国家的法治的问题。
the Taiwanese government isn't fixing it, and there's not even much case of
公部门的
the Taxation Bureau
经常会把这些法治人
facing their own problems and facing what they did wrong.
详细去检视它啊，真的是从上到下漏洞百出。
And if we look deeper into details of what happened, we can see there's a lot of illegal doings, illegal holes that's within our system.
把过去他们所讲的跟历史翻来今天啊，就是浊世
Our system is
浊非今世啊，颠三倒
with
四
lots of
还可以这个用很多的不是理由的理由如此的强辩这个就是我们所谓的用辩证术、辩证法这是一个法西斯的这个思想那台湾威权还是在体制里面非常的严重那如果这个威权不打破
in our Taiwanese
这个
system,
法治不改革体制不改革
the abuse of power is actually very severe, and if we don't fix this, then the citizens of Taiwan, under this pressure from the government, abuse of human rights from the government, we will be very hard to walk out. The citizens will have a really hard time to fight against their cases.
绝对是这样子为什么我如此敢肯定因为从他的所犯的法条跟法律实在是让你瞠目结舌实在是非常恐怖的他所犯的34种法律总共犯了195条的法条占这34种法律2964条里面的 6.6%你看严不严重我们所有公人员226种法律里面，对公部门的惩罚只有122条，在太极门的破坏案件，他就犯了195条，你看多么严重，多么的夸张，没有一个人受到。
In our law, as we can see, if we look deeper into the Taiwanese law,
没收财产。
there's only, compared to laws that's against the citizens, the laws in correcting the government who did the wrongs are immensely much more. Lots of laws are built upon punishing the citizens' wrongdoings instead of, and only a few laws are against the wrongdoings of the government. There's no punishment. There's not much punishment in the government system, in the law that's against government's wrongdoings.
所以最近报纸你看法官被怎么被注意跟警告，就是来自这条法律。
There's only around five laws that's against the government officials. There's only warning and
最重要的根源，宪法的人权、宪法的这些条款就要注入到所有法律里面。那注入到里面的2个最大的精神，第一个就是你要立法来遵循，不是尊重，是遵循，一定要遵守。第二个叫违反的惩处，不是这样子呢？犯错不惩处吗？
There shouldn't just only be warning against the government officials that have done wrongs. There should be punishment. There should be punishment that's equal to the laws that's given to the citizens.
台湾有参与整个宪法的制定吗？事实上是没
There
有
shouldn't
啊。
only
很多
just
法律也
be
不是台湾人去定的啊。
there shouldn't only just
以前
be
那些法律啊，有
warnings
修吗？
given to the
有
officials
改吗？
that has
以前叫威胁
done
呢，以前
wrongdoing.
叫白色恐怖呢，以前叫党国呢，他立下的东西就是控制人民呢，他是一个法西斯哎。你现
This
在的民
used to
主
be
讲人
called
权、讲立宪、讲行宪，你
abuse
那些不要
of
改
using
吗？
power.
犯错的法条
In Taiwan
你不要去惩处吗？你申诫也好啊，轻的叫
Nowadays,
申诫啊，一只、两只、
shouldn't
三只啊。
Shouldn't we
小过一只、两只、三只啊，
fix
大
this
过一
problem?
只、两只啊，两只叫什么？两只叫做叫开除嘛。公务人员你本来就是犯到3条，2条就要开除啊，否则他公务人员里面官官相护，他怎么会去开除一个员工？除了那种被刑事法院判决的，所以行政法里面没办法，这个我们叫什么？叫开除一个公务人员。法官犯错不用惩处，终身领到的，对不对？哪有这样的？有这样的职业吗？法官也是一种职业呢。以前法官高高在上呢，现在法官是一个职业呢，会计师、律师、对，建筑师、土木技师、医师都是一种职业呢。你法官的特别伟大，那是在威胁的时候法官才伟大，他可以乱判呢。因为判了没事啊，交办啊，判死刑啊，没收财产啊，我照判了，是这样听命行事的嘞，所以不会去追究他。
in Taiwan's society
现在不
nowadays,
是嘞，现在人家再起码
what
要
the judges are doing
怎么可能
are
变成这样
abusing
呢？时代不一
is
样了，法律
abusing their power
太离谱了啊！
to punish the citizens.
当同胞哦，
They're using their power to work with the government and giving the citizens a hard time, which is a huge abuse of power happening in nowadays society. And whenever they make anything wrong or break the law, they only get warning instead of other harsh punishments that can stop them from making the same problem again.
我们一定会支持你，一定会来站江。好，那我另外有一些法律实在是很恐怖我们的团队盘查过
So I'm sharing
法律
more laws that is quite horrible to say with.
对公务人员惩罚是122条，占了0.75%。对人民的处罚条款有1330条，占了8.12%。
So the laws against the citizens in the Taiwanese system is more than 7% of the laws, and the laws against the government officials' wrongdoings is only 0.7% of our laws. So we can see there's a huge difference that's happening. Because the government is using their own problem, using their own power to make it easy for them to run away from their own problems and giving the citizens a very hard time to fight for their way of living. If we don't fix this problem, then we will just be servants of the overpowered government. We have to stand together and fix this problem in Taiwan society. Now we're sharing Mr. Chen's case with everyone. This is one of the victim, Mr. Chen. Mr. Chen says that he is very lucky to have help from the society, kind lawyers, kind people that can lend him a hand to save him out of difficulties from the government who were using their power and abuse Mr. Chen's right. So So the enforcement office in Taiwan gave out a fine of 18,000 only, and just because of Mr. Chen, she forgot to pay this fine without any warnings or care from the government to remind him to pay this fine. You know, as Miss Chen is a busy man, he is having a hard time to balance his work and taking care of his mom, his son, his daughter at home. You know, he is very busy, working very hard, and sometimes he just forgets to. If he forgot about this 18,000 fine, he didn't even see it. And then, without any care from the government gave out this fine, and then without any warnings, they just waited for this time to go on and pass on, and waited for the fine to increase every month, every year. And at the end, they just came up to Mr. Chen's door and said that, "Oh, we're taking away your house now because you haven't paid this 18,000 fine," and it has already grown to. So the enforcement office sent people and said that, "Oh, you didn't pay the 18,000 fine, and so we are taking away your $2 million house," which is quite absurd because the government didn't show any care or reminder to Mr. Chen before taking away his house. And Mr. Chen, without any knowledge of what's happening, he tried to seek for help, and after some kind lawyers came in and lent a hand to him, they found out that the government, actually the enforcement office, actually didn't show any care and didn't send any warning. And in the court fighting this case, the enforcement office even fabricated fake evidence to fight against this case, which is disgusting to say, because knowing that our government are actually making fake evidence to fight against the people they're working for, this is absurd. You know, this needs to be solved in Taiwan, and this is actually happening in Taiwan, and we need these people who broke the law to be punished, or else they will never learn. They don't seem like they're willing to fix their own problems or face their problems.
事上面是我们有买进的价钱，然后有手续费，然后有提交税，然后跟卖出的价钱，所以依照它的算法，就是我每天都可以赚到10。
So for currently what we're watching now, this case, this sir, he was a award-winning software developer, and after coming back to Taiwan, because after coming back to Taiwan, he opened his company for a consecutive 5 years, wasn't doing well, and has lost money. So he closed his company after losing money in this 5 years of his company's business. But he still needs to have a life, you know. He still needs to live on. So his only way to still have the money to continue his life living on is to by selling his stock. But here's the thing: when this sir was trying to sell his only stock in hand, that he was planning to use it for his living, the Taxation Bureau took away his stock. The Taxation Bureau forced on saying that his stocks are his salaries, are his earnings. So actually it's that the Taxation Bureau already understood what's happening for this sir, his his hardship of living, and also he's selling his stock for his own living, and the stock isn't his salaries, and the Taxation Bureau already has taken this case down. But here's the problem in Taiwan's government system: the executive office still insists on saying that his stocks are salaries, so they needed to find tax based on his stock. And because of this, he couldn't come back to Taiwan from outside of the country, just because the executive office insisted that his stocks are his salaries. And what the executive office says is that if he comes back to Taiwan, they will have to arrest him because he isn't paying tax on his stocks. So this caused his family to depart because his family is still in Taiwan, and he wasn't able to come back to Taiwan because of the government's executive office doing.
能够让执政的政府了解到民意，我们人民的生活人权是应该保障的。
So what we're seeing right now is a reporter of a media, and he had enough of Taiwan's government, and because all the news media has been controlled by the government, and we are not sending out the real message of what's happening in this society. We are not sending out the important message of what the government are doing illegally. This reporter up here is sharing some of the experience of things that's control cases of the government controlling the media.
人家是报案，你要去抓谁？你不抓谁，反正恐吓失主说你中了几十年的花要对吧？铲除，否则我要开单告发，开单处罚。你看，这个就是什么不公不义的警察。所以我也不客气啊，你们在 Google 里可以找得到那篇新闻我写的，兰花被偷，怪罪失主，警方乱开罚单，恐吓失主，你可以查查看 ，Google 找得到。我觉得这种不公不义。
So there was a case of This was a case. The thing he was talking about was a case of police abusing his power and using this to abuse the citizens' rights. It was originally supposed to be the victim, this citizen calling for help, but then this police officer used his power to abuse the citizens' rights and gave him a hard time. This has been happening for quite a while in Taiwan now, and we aren't, not enough of the news media is putting out this news. So this reporter also talked about we can see that before the presidential election, all the candidates were talking about human rights that, human rights there, and the importance of human rights. But look what's going on now. After the election, it's no more. The human right is never a topic anymore by these electives, by these candidates. This is another case. She is also a victim. She was really touched because knowing that so many people today are here caring about what's happening. She was really touched. She has three child, and she talked about having a stable life with his husband. So
那当小生就开始实施那个奢侈税了，但是他有排除条款， 那我估算了一下，我觉得我跟先生的条件其实都符合那个排除条款哈，因为我先生名下没有房子嘛，那就是我们夫妻名下都没有房子，我们买的话，我们夫妻名下就只会有一间房子，所以我们就很放心的就买了。可是买了之后呢，我就发现说那个房子真的是非常不理想啊，因为在菜市场的正上方。
So, when they bought their house, they believe that there won't be any exclusion clauses, and but so they bought the house, and after living there for a while, they realized that every time when they need to go home, they have to go through the market. You have to go through all the pork and beef butcherings, and well, it was just not a good place for a house. So she talked about it with his husband. So she sold her house, and then she also changed the place and changed another house to live in. But she realized that this house is also not so suitable for her.
我就收到了国税局的公文他要我缴500多万的税，500多万的奢侈税。那当时我就觉得很奇怪，为什么会有这个奢侈税？我明明这个房子是自住了，所以当时我就收集了一些相关的资料，也找了当时的里长开那个自住证明因为里长就住在我们的楼下那他每个月都要来跟我收清洁费嘛，所以我当时我请他开那个证明证明就是说这个房子不是自住。可是呢，我当把资料提供给国税局的时候，国税局他就引用了各种法条，我无论提什么样的解释，他就用各样的法条告诉我说，你这个就是要科奢侈税。然后呢，我就因为这样子的案子。
So, in short, for her case is that after buying a house and finding it not so suitable for living, she wanted to change her house, but while changing her house, she received a fine from the Taxation Bureau saying that what they're doing will require a 5 million tax fine, which in law, legally, she doesn't need to pay that 5 million tax because this is actually illegally giving her a tax fine, and then the Taxation Bureau forced her to pay the 5 million fine. And this caused her family to be in hardship, and also caused that her husband to ask her for divorce because things were just going not so well for her, and starting from the Taxation Bureau's insist of forcing her to pay that 5 million fine, and yeah, by putting such a big amount of pressure on her, it拿下。
我就是因为我把罚金付不出来，你现在又要我付将近一半的要付一半的罚金，然后才能诉愿。那这根本就不是救济的方法，我就是没有这笔钱啊。那当时我问了会计师，会计师是说，你还是可以，但是呢，你之后还是会被强制执行，因为你没有付出这一半的罚金。那时候其实因为这个离婚案，我已经搞得我真的是身心俱疲了，所以我就忽略了那个诉愿的时间。那后来呢，很快的在今年初的时候，我就被强制执行，然后那时候刚好是过年前，所以我今年的过年我是没有半毛钱。我的账户里面是没有半毛钱去过那个年，而且
不管你有没有赚钱，
我在家人面前
所以现在税债户有好几个都是他们都没有赚钱，还赔钱，还要扣。
台湾已经30年。
所以我不知道说，台湾这个民主法治国家现在到底是怎么了？我记得在去年前年的时候，我姐姐那时候。联系上在美国的一个友人，然后他告诉我说：“你走吧，你去美国好了。我看你这个案子大概也是没有办法解决了。”可是我当时我几经考虑，我觉得我还是要留下来，因为台湾是我很深爱的一个地方，在这边有我很爱的人。我的爸妈，我爸爸90多岁，我妈妈也快90岁了，我真的是舍不得离开他们。我也希望我的孩子能够在这片土地上成长、长大。那今天真的很感谢有这样的机会，能够陈述我的案子。我也希望说，能够透过
So there used to be a luxury tax in Taiwan, and in Taiwan, the ridiculous thing is that the luxury tax was originally used for luring taking people who sell their house and taking a big whole amount of money from the house owners when they sell a house. Luxury tax is based on when an owner of the house are looking to sell their house, and no matter if they earn money or lose money by selling the house, they will have to pay a luxury tax to the government, and it's a huge amount of money. And yeah, so the Taxation Bureau forced her to pay this money, and which she didn't need to pay, and actually didn't need to pay. She actually wasn't on the requirements. She didn't even meet the requirements to pay that, and even until now, there's no Taiwan's law has already taken this luxury tax off the law, and they're still onto her, onto our victim just now, forcing her to pay the money.
所以我们一般认为说，只要是自己的这个直系亲属入住就是自住，它不是。第二个，他买入的时间是用过户， 卖出的时间是用签约，所以有很多人在104年12月20几号的时候，想说我签了约，我等到过户完成都是105年的奢侈税停下来，结果他们在12月的时候签了约，结果就踩到这个地雷。也就是说，我们这一个财政当时的这个推这个案的财政部长，就是刚刚陈老师讲的，在某一个大学当客座教授的那一位，设计了这个充满陷阱的一个税制，让这一些不懂税的这些这个人民去踩到
This Mr. is talking about introducing us to how the government designed this luxury tax just to earn and steal the money of the citizens whenever they need to pay, whenever they sell a house, whether they lose money or not, whether they earn money or lose money by selling the house, people will need to pay a luxury tax to the Taxation Bureau. And this law was built on just for stealing the citizens' money. So we're talking about conscience here, and how can there be no conscience and no conscience, no care in our government system?
最近才被公布，所以大家比较不知道。居然可以把它整个卖出加总16亿，算出他可以赚4亿多，人家才300万的一个资金可以赚4亿多，他也当股神啊。然后明明知道说人家算起来明明就是亏本，如果一整个电脑报表很清楚列在那一边。
So there's a lot of cases where the Taxation Bureau have been calculating the money of what everyone will lose and forcing people to pay up the money.
但是坚持执行，让这个钟先生流落海外已经第7年，他的小孩子从2、3岁开始到现在没有爸妈陪在身边，是多么凄惨。妈妈生病没办法回来，外祖母生病没办法回来，但这就是我们的执行署，叫做什么？叫做执行有爱，是不是？
It's because our executive office in Taiwan and the Taxation Bureau, they love the bonus money that they can get whenever they give out a fine, whenever there's anything related to tax. A fine that they give out to the people, they will get bonus money, and this after years and years and years of practice in Taiwan by the Taxation Bureau and Executive Office, this has become a problem and become a norm of what they're doing. They think it's alright because it has been here for so long, and they think that people are used to it, and by giving out fine to people, they earn bonus money, and this bonus money, they can share this money within their office to everyone who is working there, who's working in the executive office, who's working in the Taxation Bureau, and anyone working there can get this bonus money. So this caused the executive office and the Taxation Bureau to give out extra illegal tax money, fining illegal tax to different individuals, no matter the group or individuals in the Taiwan country. They all give out high fines. trying to get as much money money from these fines as possible, and just for the bonus money.
得以喘息，不要继续的受害。今天我的发表到这里，那我们待会
We hope that we can fix this and lower the cases of what's happening in Taiwan.
已经在国际
This
受到
has
很多
become
宗教人权、宗教信仰人权学者的关注。有一位马西莫教授，意
And
大利非常有名
for
的宗教信仰
Tai
人
Ji
权
Men's
的学
case,
者。
this has become an international study already, and
导演的一带，他也待会跟大家分享看一下，请大家特别注意，台湾的人权问题不是只有在台湾，是全世界在关注。谢谢。
Mr. Mashimo, Professor Mashimo.
假案民法真相调查委员会的召集人曾建元教授来为我们补充。掌声。
Professor, this is Professor Zhen Yuan Zhou.
这么多的个案的呈现，
菅原
其实我们都知道问题在哪里那问题的解决的方向其实我想这个
He has been very putting in a lot of effort these many years in Taiwan's right to adjust Taiwan's system, Taiwan's judicial system.
那所以呢，这个错误的制度呢，我们看到现在非常多的就来自于这个奖励金的制度从这个税务跟这个税务的这个激增到之后的这个行政的这个执行所有的官员因为追逐这个
So he personally, this professor Zhen is also a victim of this abuse of power in Taiwan.
制度上会去制度我们的现行制度会帮他解决可是这个奖金的问题，奖金的是他马上可以拿到的那所以呢，这个他们就不会去。
So let me say this again. The bonus money is the worst part in Taiwan's judicial and government system. This is the reason. The bonus money is a reason of the officials having so hungry for the bonus money. They has lost their focus on giving care and using care to govern the Taiwan's country, but they have lost their focus, just because their focus is all on the bonus money in the Taiwan system. They're just giving out fines.
特别是我们曾经是一个，我们过去是一个白色恐怖这个统治的曾经历经那一段过程，所以我们的人民呢，面对官员或者面对这个。
So we have went through the abuse of power from the movement 228, and we know what happened back then. And we have lived in horror and back then, and it actually haven't left us. It's still happening. We need to fix the problems that's going on in our society. The direction to fix this problem is to fix the laws. The National Committee of Taiwan, we need to reflect on what we're doing. We have to self-reflect on what is going on and what we're producing in this committee.
那我们期待就是说在今天这个人权纪念日不是刑宪纪念日这一天呢，我们的声音能够让立法院能够听到，能够让我们的监察院的委员呢。
So currently, all the laws in Taiwan, most of them are for protecting these government officials that has been luring out the money, the bonus money. And that's why whenever there's a victim of this kind of act, the victims are having a hard time to fight in the court because all the court people, the judges, are also sent by the Taxation Bureau or the executive office. And all they want is the bonus money. They're just working for the bonus money, these officials. And this is something very wrong. So this caused that whenever the officials have done wrongdoings, broken the law, they don't need to they don't need to make up for their mistake. They don't need to get punished. They can just live on with what they've done and continue use their power to abuse and give out fines to the citizens. And we need the community to reflect on how to solve this problem. So the executive office, they have been they're not helping the citizens. Okay, just in simple words, it's just that these government, executive yuan, executive office, the Taxation Bureau, all these sections, these governments are just working for the bonus money, and we don't need these government sectors, these sections of our government to be working for the bonus money. We need them to work for the people, not for their own bonus money that they can put in their own pocket. And we really think that they need to take some kind of social class to understand how to work for the people, how to work to improve the people's lives, not focusing on their own pocket bonus money that they can get from the citizens. They've been doing all these wrongdoings just for bonus money, and they're still they're ranking up in their positions. And this is just something very absurd. We all the citizens, we pay tax for these government officials to work for us, not just to abuse and use their power to take away our money.
行政院呢，竟然破坏人权的公务员，给他钱，给他奖励，给他绩效。
So whatever they're doing, they have been rewarded with money, and they're not using the tax money to work for the people and improving the people's lives.
巩固司法院长的地位，那司法院呢也要侵害人权，也不让监察院的人权委员会能够出现。
So what Professor Chen is saying, lawyer Professor Chen is saying, is that we need our country's different sections of the government to watch over each other, to monitor each other, to fix the problems. We need all the government systems, different sections, to monitor each other, to avoid them to keep their focus on the bonus money.
可以控制法官的人事权跟法官的升迁权，这个是很离谱的。所以司法院长呢，应该要自己自行请辞，为了
So if we believe that, if
自己请辞，而不是会监察院应该会司法院。
the judiciary, if they are doing wrongs, then we want them to face their problems and quit what they're doing, so that a better person can take over this position, a more suitable person that can care for human rights for the citizens, can take over their position and do the right thing. If anyone is not doing what they're expected to be doing, then we need to change. We need them to be off their seat, off their position. We need the right people working at the right position. We don't want. Yeah.
诉讼都不要一下就要缴一半，然后这种事情的，对不对？所以观念都有偏差。然后再来第四权，媒体权呢，其实才更是要有言论的自由，人民的。
So the media, we need media for freedom of speech. We don't want the media to be controlled by the government. If the media is being controlled by the government, then Taiwan's truth wouldn't be told. If everything is being restricted, how can this be democracy? We need so because of the media is being controlled by the government. The real truth, the words from the citizens, cannot be heard by the world. So we really need freedom of speech from the media. We need the media to not be controlled by the government, so that they can produce real news that's happening and report what's at stake.
监察院不能够再是没有牙齿的老虎，监察院不能够再不注重人权，所以监察院很重要。我们今天的节目，今天的记者会就是要给监察院。监察委员，
We need them to change what they're doing. They cannot hide from what they're doing. We all see that everyone sees what they're doing. And we want them to work together with the people, with the law, and fix it and work together with the people, so that we can improve our judicials, we can improve our laws. We have to tell them that our human rights human rights is not relied on the government. Human rights should be protected by the government. The government should protect the citizens' human rights, not the other way around. We are the masters of our country. It's not the government. The government are the people who take the citizens' money to work for the citizens, work for the country, not for themselves. We want a real government. So over here today, we are sending out the real information to break what has been reported out there by the government's media. And today we wish that people can understand the truth of how the executive yuan, the executive office, the Taxation Bureau, every government sector needs to self-reflect on what they're doing and stop working for bonus money. They need to have conscience. They need to be caring. They need to know what and when and how to serve for the people of Taiwan, and also to protect the human rights of the people in Taiwan. We cannot be bullied by this corrupted system. We need to reflect on what's happening and fix it. We want to become a real democratic country with strong judicial, strong government that does their job right, that cares for the people of Taiwan, that truly cares for the people of Taiwan. We are very thankful for everyone here who stood out and shared their experience with us and let us know the truth of what's going on in Taiwan. So here we have the representative of Tai Ji Men here sharing a bit more with us. So today, part of my feelings are that I'm very saddened because we've worked so hard for making our future generation better, but also I'm standing here with a good heart because I know we're doing something right. So we're very thankful that going through the judicial court for 3 times, and they have given Tai Ji Men being innocent. So everything that Tai Ji Men sells
根本就是免税的所得，所以这个在司法3审呢，判决确定回复给这个Tai Ji Men一个清白，从那一天开始应该就没有后续了。所以这个是我们要非常的感谢这个Tai Ji Men一个清白。从那一天开始应该就没有后续。官员竟然被废掉了以后，竟然还自己去做出了一个这个税务的奖励金，用这样的方式来图利自己，这其实是我们所有国人所不容许的。我们不能容许这些官员他们违法的把属于我们所有国人的这些国家的财产，只是用一个内规的方式，就把它作为自己的奖励金。 这大家可以接受
are
吗？
not allowed to take the money,
立法委
give
员
us
已
fine.
经很
They
明确
still
地
made
指出，那是一
fines,
个没有法源
made
依据、
tax
没有
fines
法律授
from
权的
the
这样的一个奖励
taxpayers
金，到
for
今
their
天
own bonus
还
money,
让
and
这
we
些
cannot
国税局
allow
官员
them to
他
do
可能会
that.
受到这些不当的奖励金的引诱，他可能会做出迫害人民
These
的
officials
行
has
为
been working
所以我
for
们
the
非
bonus
常
money,
的
and
非
we
常的严正，要
want
求
them
政
to
府
fix that.
要废
They
除这样的
need
奖励金，不管
to know
是从
what is
立
right,
法
what is
院，
wrong.
不管是从监察院，
They need
但
to
是
know
对
what
这样
they
的
can
事情
take.
做一个真正实质的调查。
We
最后，我们要感谢
need
真
to
的所
eliminate.
有一
We
路
need
走来所有
we need
帮
to
助
eliminate
我在这
the
个过程
bonus
里
money
帮助
system
台湾
in
在
our
法税
Taiwanese
改革
government
上
system
面这
in
条
order
上
to
面
stop
所有努力的
this
这些专
horrible
家学者。
act to be repeated year after year after
其实没
year.
有你们勇敢的站出来
You know,
没有人会相信台湾竟然到了现在还存在这么
without
多
everyone
违
standing
法的
out,
事情，这么
all the
多
victims
迫害
of
人的
this
事情。
abuse from the government, without them standing out, then we would never know Taiwan is actually practicing fake democracy, and actually the government is using their power to abuse the people's human right. We've been on this road for 24 years. After fighting in this 24 years, we have realized that what is going on in Taiwan, we have understood a lot of the truth of what's going on in Taiwan, and we want everyone to work together to fix this, to solve this problem. This is also for our future generation. We want them, our future kids, future childs, future generation to have a better future, not in this fake democratic country. We want the country to solve their judicial problems. We want the government to give back what is theirs of the victims. We now ask everyone to stand out together to fix and to monitor what's happening in the government system.
那其实历时24年的太极门这个案件呢，总共有高达303位立委也都为这个团体声援。那其中88年的时候，甚至也有82位的立委他们进行联署，然后早在那个时候就已经要求他们要撤销违法税单，可是他们到现在都还没有嘛。现在太极门案就是还是有一个剩下的81年税单继续的。就政府官员他们没有承认错误，继续迫害人民的人权。那其实当时在88年的时候呢，这些立委他们就是联署说，国税局以及侯宽仁检察官的违法起诉，一个起诉说诈欺要求没收，然后另外一个说他们有盈利是。要被移送课税的，那其实这两个事实本来就不应该是两立的。那也非常感谢后来有303位的立委一起关心
We are very thankful that
那接下来
there's 333 representatives from parties that stand out for fixing and voice out what is right.
So I think before I start, I just want to quickly say what the Tai Ji Men dizi was talking about being thankful, and I think that's something that's very important. And the first thing he said was very thankful for the judiciary court to giving back the innocence of the people to the Tai Ji Men shifu and dizi. And so the second thing he was thankful for was thankful for the control yuan for investigating on the officials who have done these illegal action and to be able to say, hey, you know, they need to right their wrong, and then wanting to hold these officials accountable. And third, he was thankful for the legislative branch, and he's thankful for those legislator and representative for speaking out for the people and also trying to abolish the bonuses, which was at the core of why there's so many tax victims. So I think when looking at this in an international view, really is when we think of Taiwan, we think of democracy, and we think of a country that should be based on law. But again, in so many countries, when you look even closer to everything that's going on within the country, you see these flaws. And so in a democratic country, we want to remind the people that yes, voting is part of democracy, but again, it's stepping up for your rights and stepping up to protect the rights that you have. That's most important. And so when the people, like many that gathered here today, that says that, hey, you know, there's something fundamentally wrong with what's going on within the system, I think it's part of every citizen's duty to step up and try to make sure that the system and those who have the power to govern this country is being held accountable, and to make a change to make sure that every single person within this country has the rights that they deserve. Thank you.
我们谢谢这位国际记者的声援。那诚如刚刚联合国 NGO 世界公民总会台湾的秘书长他也有说到嘛，现在这个案件其实引起了许多国际媒体的关注。那其中一位意大利宗教社会学家暨新兴宗教研究
The Tai Ji Men case has already received national attention and international intentions, and one of the religious leader, Professor Mashimo, has made a video and to talk about the Tai Ji Men case. So Tai Ji Men is a ancient Qigong academy, and they have been spreading warm-hearted culture exchange of using their own money to spread love around the world. It is not government funded. Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy is owned by Dr. Hong Daozi. So the focus is to spread love and peace and culture exchange around the world. Taiwan, to be established as a Qigong Academy, Dr. Hong has went through a lot of hardship. There was a lot of religious abuses from the government. Guns pointed point blank against innocent Tai Ji Men brothers and sisters. This was by prosecutor Ho, and he was illegally, without no evidence, prosecuting Tai Ji Men, and which is very ridiculous and should be held accountable. His doings should be punished. So prosecutor Ho was using fabricated evidence, simply just opinions to prosecute a case with no evidence of what he was saying, which means that it's So prosecutor Ho, after Tai Ji Men's innocent was being found, and prosecutor Ho still forced on the Taxation Bureau to give out fines, tax fines to Tai Ji Men Academy, Qigong Academy, and prosecutor Ho said that this is prosecutor Ho used the name of Tai Ji Men as a cram school, earning money to force the Taxation Bureau to give out fine to Tai Ji Men, which isn't true at all, because Tai Ji Men has been everyone's money to doctor. It was everyone's money isn't how a cram school would work. Everyone's red envelope is a gift to Dr. Hong as a respect. And there's proof that there's no need of giving tax, because this is a cultural thing that has been going on for many years in the Chinese culture, and these red envelopes are all gifts to Dr. Hong, not payments. It's gifts to Dr. Hong. So in this case, Tai Ji Men shouldn't be fined for tax, but the Taxation Bureau still forced on saying that this is Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy is a cram school. So a survey was sent out to everyone, and so these files of survey showed that all the brothers and sisters in Tai Ji Men Academy all said that their red envelope are gifts to Dr. Hong. They are not payments; they're gifts, which in turn that they don't need to pay. Tai Ji Men doesn't need to pay tax, and also because Tai Ji Men isn't a cram school. But the worst thing is that the Taxation Bureau, they fabricated evidence. They made fake evidence to fight against the court for against Tai Ji Men, saying that they are cram schools. They changed some of the papers to change some papers the other way around, and used it in the court. And actually, changing court papers are fabricating and using fake evidence is a big criminal act. And the reason the Taxation Bureau has been doing this is obviously just for the sake of the bonus money, because they want, as long as they can give out a huge fine to Tai Ji Men, all the people, the upper officials in the Taxation Bureau, they can receive bonus money for their own pockets. So the worst thing in Taiwan's system is that really all the government officials, they can do whatever they want, and they won't be held accountable because the law are fixed around to protect them. And even if the citizens, the lawyers, of kind-hearted, try to fix this and fight against the government, and showing that the government has done wrong and has abused human rights or any kind, these government officials would never be held accountable. They will only get warnings, and this can cause the same problem to happen over and over again for many years. And this has been in Taiwan for this kind of act has been in Taiwan for more than this kind of act has been in Taiwan for definitely more than 20 years. So what we're seeing over here are lawyers, are experts, are Tai Ji Men brothers and sisters, are representatives from all over Taiwan. People are working together to show and to reveal the truth of how this our government system has been running our country. Our democratic country that they so-called is democratic. And this case has been, all the experts have been working together, and this has already been shown to the international eye, and experts from outside of the country and from international has stand up to try and help to bring justice in Taiwan, because this has been here for too long already. Taiwan seems like a very democratic country on the outside, but in the inside, because not a lot of people can see what's going on in the inside with the government's manipulation of the media, the truth are not being told to the outside world. Everything from the media are being told just because the things that are told to the outside world are what the government want the outside world to perceive Taiwan as, and what the experts and representatives and all the Tai Ji Men brothers and sisters are doing are to reveal what's happening in Taiwan, and there's really a need of change that needs to happen in Taiwan. And everyone has been doing this for so many years, more than 24 years. We have started protest and for attention for everyone to be aware of what's happening.
Versus France, then through its tax administration, France had unduly harassed a group that had been illegitimately put on a blacklist of so-called harmful counts. The court went to explain that monetary offers made by devotees to their spiritual leaders or organizations are obviously gifts. The court concluded that considering donations as taxable payments is a typical way that some governments use and misuse to discriminate against movements that they don't like. But this is illegal under international human rights law.
I think that it is as bad, if not worse, to allow an injustice to continue as it is to create the injustice in the first place. And that is what's happened here with Tai Ji Men.
太极门不仅为自己而战，太极门借此让一个至关重要的议题，即司法信仰自由和人权浮上台面。所以从这个意义上来说，我们都是太极门。对太极门的不公正行为，就是对我们所有人的不公正行为。太极门的胜利，就是我们的胜利。
So Tai Ji Men's victory is everyone's victory because this Tai Ji Men case can be an example for every victims' abuse cases to be solved, to be fixed of the Taiwan's government system.
迫害案件，其中有上万的受害者历经了多少次的政党轮替都没有办法被解决。那在今天这样子的一个行宪纪念日，我们太极门奖案也获得了票选的第1名，真的也是非常讽刺的，也可以看出台湾的人权是在倒退的。对，那这个被专案学者称作是台湾宪法228，也是司法跟宪法照妖镜的太极门案。其实我们从影片里面也可以看出，它真的是一个非常简单的案件，再简单不过了。只要政府官员他们愿意低头承认错误，就可以被解决。
As we can see in all the cases, it's really like if the government officials admit to their wrongs, then things could be solved so much faster.
政府官员他们的人权观念还是停留在威权时期，所以我们需要有更多的人愿意勇敢站出来，来为了台湾的人权、民主、法治跟自由去发声。那今天最重要的是呢，在记者会的结尾，我们法税改革联盟。
Most important thing, at last over here, the most important thing is that we want to welcome everyone over here to be aware of the Human Rights Act. There's so many more victims hiding in despair and living a miserable life because of the abuse of government, and we want to reach them out and give them a hand and bring justice to Taiwan and make Taiwan better. Thank you. So our title for today is 21st Century Countries Major Abuse Cases, and yeah, today we have revealed the truth with evidence, with victims, and also a whole country survey of what people want to see, want to understand and be fixed. All the cases there was a survey of all cases, and so we can see over here. This is there. Just wait, please. So over here we can see this sad sticker. It means that the government has abused, taken power, and abused the human rights of the people, and people has lost their human rights. And this over here, this two word in Chinese means people are sad, people are hurt because of their wrongdoings. And then yeah, this three words over here means there's no human rights in Taiwan. Taiwan has already lost their human rights because really the government has been abusing their power and trying to overthrow the thinking of working for the citizens. Instead, they have been working just for their own bonus money and for their own for their own benefits. So number one we can see here is we have to stop, in order to stop the government officials need of bonus money, their greed for bonus money. We have to stop the bonus money system, because working for as a government official, they don't need bonus money whenever they find someone, right? Because this will cause the officials to be greedy, and humans' greed will be out, and they would want to work for bonus money. They would want to get extra money instead of just focusing on improving the citizens' lives. So this will cause them to, this system, the bonus money system, will cause them to just throw out random fines against people whenever they get the opportunity. And so yeah, so number one is we need to stop this bonus money system, and number two, this means we have to save victims. There's a lot of cases out there that haven't been discovered, and people are dying and suffering mentally, physically every day because of the government's greed for bonus money, because of number one that caused number two to happen. And for example, Tai Ji Men, right? This isn't just one person, this is a whole group of people. This is already the Tai Ji Men case has already been going on for 24 years, and really, how can any group suffer for 24 years of unjust? This is just observed, and this is not only damaging for the mental state, but also physically. This is very tiring for everyone to spend their own time just to fix the government's unjust, when at the start they can do their own part correctly. And even the international media, international experts are focus on this. And also, yeah, so Tai Ji Men is just one big case of innocent victim. Tai Ji Men is only one victim case, and there are, just as we just saw, many other victims from this bonus money system, this unjust system in Taiwan. And number 3 is protect human rights, because if we really don't have the human right in Taiwan, then how can we live on? We need human right to actually be in work, or else if our human right in Taiwan system isn't working, then whenever there's need of in court or in anywhere, by the police or the court, the judges, if they abuse the human right, they will use their power to overthrow what was legal, what's unjust. They will use the power to fight against the victims of what should be who should be innocent.
这个诉讼一审是赢的，一审的法官为了在二审资料这个案子这块要结案的时候，他马上调到高院，高院接手这个案子以后就判我们输。现在这个案子在最高法院就拖着。对，这个是很事实明确的，就是这块土地就是我们的，联动他没有权利来占用这个房屋项，这个是我们接受过土地测量，然后也调了一些建筑物的厂来看。我是新北市，我们没有处理，我们最早陈情就是用打1999陈情很多次，完全所有的公文就是抚弄我的。如果有处理的好的话，我们根本不需要找诉讼。
好，那我请给你看一下第24条宪法所保障的，凡公务员违法欺害人民